Today is Monday, March 8th, the International Women's Day, so I called my mom at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock here, it's 4 o'clock in Russia. And she sounded pretty sleepy. Serежа? Sergei? I said, are you sleeping? No, it's 4 o'clock. No, but I know she's always sleeping. And she always denies it, you know, like when I was a kid and I lived at home with the parents, right? The mom would lie down on the sofa and there's a movie going on or anything. She's always like dozing off, you know? And as soon as you ask her, Mom, are you asleep? No, I just closed my eyes. I said, why you always argue? Why you cannot never admit that you were asleep? No, but I wasn't asleep. I just closed my eyes. So why do you close your eyes, right? So she's sleeping, but she was just... And now she's 84 and it still continues, you know? No, I wasn't sleeping. Anyway, so I told her everything is fine. And she said she didn't do too much walking because there's a lot of snow on the ground. And it's because, yeah, she does that Nordic walking, right? And I said, yeah, please be careful. You know, be careful with the slippery sidewalk. This hill here is something else, you know. Before, this is exit 4. So this is I-390. So this is just the beginning of Dansville, New York. And so this is the easy part. So my pilot is following me. I need one escort because I'm over 80.
Short bridge on the bend up here.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, there's a bunch of these skinny bridges with very narrow shoulder. And so I see he's blocking the left lane so I can go in the middle. And my permit says maximum speed 55 miles per hour. And usually this is my exit. Actually, it's not that bad. I always stop. Yeah, I always stop here at this TA. But this time, you know, I couldn't make it before the weekend's curfew. So this is exit 5. And we need this 36, but at the next exit. Yeah, I see TA. TA, the fuel price is $3.45. And I usually drop the trailer and I go across the street to that quick fill. And what's the price? $3.09. $3.09. So exactly what I paid over there near Lawrenceville. So yeah, my permit, my updated New York permit got issued at 9 o'clock. Pretty much, I saw my pilot, Tom, arrive and he parked under the bridge. So I went to greet him and give him my business card for the invoice, you know, for the receipt. And right as we are talking, my phone beeps and I look, it's an email from my permit lady and it says, here you go, drive. Because I was bugging them. I said, so when can I get my permit? And the New York permit is $40. So I had to pay $40 for the previous one, $40 for this one, and then of course the permit office will charge me, I think, what, $25 the service fee. But hopefully my freight broker will reimburse me, because that was the agreement that they cover, you know, when I send them my permits and the bill from the permit company, they revise my load confirmation by that amount. Let's say if the load paid $1 million and the bill from the permit broker was $10,000. So then they just revised the rate confirmation, and now it says we will pay Sergei Dratchev $1,010,000. So that's how it works. Of course, I'm not getting $1 million for this, I wish, but I'm not paying $10,000 for permits either, so it's a win-win. So +1 Celsius, 34F. And we have 11 kilometers, 6 miles to my exit, which is the same Highway 36 we saw before, but it goes like this, and so they don't want us to go over there on 36, so we keep following 390. But then from here, Maritimes will start, because again they're sending me on some crazy, you know, routing like 20A, 19A, but the first junction is 36. 36 is easy, except that you go through downtown of some small town in there, and when people park their cars on the sides, it can be pretty narrow. Because yeah, I'm 11 wide, 11 feet 11 inches, almost 12, so almost, so basically what, 144, that's 12, right, minus 1 inch, so like 143. And talk to this guy Tom, I'm always curious how they get started. You know, he says he used to work for Home Depot, delivering, you know, doing deliveries for people, you know, when they buy and they arrange a delivery. Let's say, you know, you deliver, I don't know, washing machine or something, right, or some big box with some tools. And so he was doing that probably in a pickup truck, and he said he did that for like a year, and then he got tired of that, like there was no money, and so he says his brother says, why don't you try this? And he says that was 16 years ago, 16 years ago, and he became a pilot, and now he drives a Chevy truck that he bought used a couple of years ago. And I said, were you always a Chevy guy? Like what trucks did you try? Like what's the best for this kind of work, right? And he said, well, I'm more of a Ford guy. So he had a Ford pickup truck, but he says 2 years ago a deer came on the road, and basically I hit it, I didn't see him, and he says the truck was destroyed, and I guess he didn't get insurance maybe for it. So the cheapest he could find was a Chevy, like the cheapest price for a used truck he found was a Chevy, and he says, yeah, it's okay. So I'm guessing it's not as good as a Ford. And check this out. So that part of their work is they have to do a lot of miles, right? Not just with the load, but imagine, I asked him, where do you live? And he says he lives 10 miles away from Buffalo, actually, where we're going, right? And he picked me up in Lawrenceville, PA, you know, which is, I don't know, pretty far. So he had to drive probably, what, 240 miles just to pick me up. And I know usually they're getting around like $1.55, $1.60 per mile, but that goes to the broker that I hired him through, right? So I have a broker, like a escort car broker in Buffalo, because it saves a lot of time, because I do have a couple of phone numbers for these guys directly, because they're all independent. You can work with them, but they're always busy, you never know. So I could probably save a couple of bucks, but this way I call the permit, I call the escort car broker, and she has many cars that people are basically standing by. And she found me a car for Maryland for day one. Then day two I had to use a local guy, and then she found me this guy. So of course the broker takes a couple of bucks off the top for sure, but that's how it works, right? So they charge you by the mile or by the day, whatever, and they charge you more if you have to do if you have to have a height pole, because sometimes, you know, that's required. If your load is over a certain height, like I think in New York it's 14 feet, you need to have a you need to have a guy with a height pole. Okay, is this one? 36. Tom, I think it's the next exit, right?
Yes, exit 6.
Yeah, New York 36.
Yes.
Let the fun begin. And that's my exhaust brake. So now we're in position 2, and it shows me on the dash like 2 dots means I'm in position 2. 1 dot means I'm in position 1.
Oh, that means I gotta be on the front.
Yeah, you can pass me and then go ahead. So his Chevy actually looks pretty good. It's an older model Silverado with 4 doors.
Like them pretty blue binders you got on there.
Yeah, those are the brand new ones that I got in trouble with the boxes, remember? Those are rated for 18,000 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
This thing off.
Yeah, I love them. I love them. I'm gonna buy them again. They're not very expensive, so I got them in Canada.
Take exit 6, then turn left onto New York 36 North.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Left onto New York 36 North.
Bye-bye freeway.
Truck to the right. Now it up. Come on, Sergei.
Continue on New York 36 North for 12 kilometers.
So that's 390. Because it would be so much faster if they could let us go on 390 to I-90. And I was just talking to him about this, saying that some people just don't seem to understand the idea of drop side rail saving time. So the reason they're sending me on this is not just because of the weight. Another Chevy, like Chevys are everywhere. That's the new one, Silverado. And so one of the reasons they are sending me in all these crazy detours where my average speed is like 35 miles an hour is because of the height. Because I'm 13 feet 11 inches tall. Well, let's say 1310. So when I had a drop side rail, of course I was losing loads like small loads, and that's why I sold it, because back at that time I worked for a guy as an owner operator, right? I was not independent, so I could not choose my loads, and so that drop side rail was had a disadvantage, right? Because the guy gives me a load, I go there, I cannot pick it up, you know, and it happened a couple of times, and so that's why I said I need to get a level deck. And over here they have quite a few prisons. See, that's a huge correctional facility on the right with double fencing, you know, and there'll be another one on the left there.
Watch you jumper to the right here.
Yeah, speed limit is 40, Tom.
To the lane. Oh, that son of a bitch, what the fuck?
So here's another one. You see the big fencing over there on the left? A couple of massive prisons over here. And they have a watchtower over there. Don't ask me what the name of this town is, but it's right on, as soon as you enter Highway 36 from 390, and so we're going north or west on 36, and I'll probably have to kill my town of Mount Morris, but this one I think is different. I might need to call to kill the volume, because I cannot go like the Google Maps is sending. And that's what sometimes people say, hey, so how do you use Google Maps when you have to stick to a certain route? So one way to do it is, if I'm willing to spend, you know, like half an hour programming midpoints into this, I can do that. But it's not easy to do, because you put a dot, let's say, on a certain intersection, and then it's always screw this up. It shows you some different area like a couple of miles away. And so instead what I do is I just kill the volume, because sooner or later it'll find the routing. So let's say now it says turn left on 20A, and yeah, I can do that, but then we have to take a big detour south and back north, because I cannot go through Wausau, New York, because there's a very bad turn in there and low bridge, and no trucks are allowed. And so instead we're gonna go west on 28, but right away we're going south on 39, and then north on 19A back to 19. So it's a good thing that I know this route, because I've been this way before many times. I'm not sure why they're sending us like this. Before, we were always going on 63 towards Batavia, right? And then we would take 3305 west from Batavia, so you still avoid tolls. There's no low bridges, except I think there's one in York, New York, which is 14 feet. But recently they stopped doing that. They stopped sending me through Batavia when I'm loaded, so they always send us like this.
we're at 30 zone.
And I don't. So yeah, this is Mount Morris. And this is the town that I meant when I said it gets a bit narrow over there. Down there'll be like the main shopping area, and they park cars like this at an angle. And I'm looking in the mirror, I have these tracks sticking out. Okay, I'm always checking diesel. Check. So this station sells diesel for $2.99. $2.99 a gallon, so $3. But you have to drop your trailer, you know. But it's still, and the hoses they use are like this thick, so it takes like an hour to put in 20 gallons, you know. All right, here we go. So this is the downtown area. Tom, I'll stay in left lane because the right lane ends over there after the light.
Yep, I was just getting over here to get the junk man by. What's that car turned in?
Yeah, I see they have all these quaint shops and lawyers, finders keepers is the name of one store. And that's what I meant. Right lane ends, and here it becomes a bit narrow. But unless there's a oversized truck coming towards me, well, actually the shoulder is okay. I'm just trying to keep the edge of my track, of the excavator's track, inside the yellow line. So this way these guys don't have to be scared. Thank you, sir. See, he went to the right to let me go. Diesel, $2.99. Looks like same deal in here, in this town. Like I said yesterday during that hiking video, so everything is set up. That's all I was waiting for. Updated New York permit, and I can cross.
Jumper right.
I can cross the bridge into Canada, but I still didn't receive my Ontario permit. So I'll have to shut down. And the liquor store is open at 10:57 a.m. Now this is the next town, is called Leicester. Leicester. changed the fuel filter when I was sitting in Duncannon. Changed the fuel filter, so this time I knew it was easier to do because I knew that you have to tighten it, you know, pretty tight. So last time I was afraid, like they said, don't over tighten, and so I didn't tighten it properly and it was leaking and the truck shut down because there was I guess airlock or something in there. So now I made sure I tightened it and I started it, and it ran like a bit irregular for a couple of minutes, but then I jumped out, I checked the housing, tightened it a bit more, and then it became fine.
So on the railroad tracks.
Yeah, usually in the middle of the track, it's where it's more level. I'm gonna pick up my headers, hopefully, on the way to Canada. I told Tom about this. I said, if you want to make a couple of bucks, I'll, you know, maybe drive me over to that post office. And he says, well, maybe it'll be better if you just drop the trailer and I stay.
Hey, Serge, we're going up to the step sign, left-hand turn.
Yeah, roger that. That's 20A.
Yes.
And he says, I'll stay with the trailer. And over there, where I'm thinking of stopping, this Jim's Truck Plaza, there's the area that's big enough for me. It's like a old Kmart parking lot, and there's a guy sometimes shows up there and he harasses people. Hey, you cannot park here. So that's why he wants to stay there, because he says as long as there's somebody with the truck, right, with the trailer, they're not gonna call like a wreck or anything like that. Okay, and straight in is 7-Eleven. Diesel is now $2.95. $2.95. And so this
So
is.
let's start our way up. Come on. To the right. Come on.
Here the hills start.
Yes.
One of them will be right here, and then you see it says 20A 39. So we're gonna, now they run together. And now this is the first big hill. Come on. So I'm gonna be skipping gears and shifting at 1400. was afraid I would have to change into a 4. And that's why I want an automatic transmission, you know. I don't care if they break every day, but hills like this with a big and heavy load, that's when it gets heavy. That's heavy, dog. Like I said, it's gonna be a long trip to the bridge. Once we do this crazy detour like 19 to 19A, then we on 20A rather, and you know, just straight, except that you still have those hills. That's 39, right?
Yes, yes. 28 bends to the right, 39 is straight through.
Yeah, of course, Buffalo is this way, like 20A, but because there's that bridge a few miles that way, trucks cannot go there. It's 10 miles, that Warsaw. So we have to go this way. And it's pretty hilly as well.
Keep it coming, come on.
No, but I gotta stop like... I cannot just roll through the stop signs every time. Yeah, you see? It doesn't look that bad, you know, when you're driving a car or a pickup truck, but in a huge truck with this 94,000-pound excavator, especially when you have to stop at the bottom, but this is not the worst one, but I know the worst one will be on 20A. Yeah, the worst ones is when I have to stop at the bottom.
Yeah, I hear ya.
See, just doesn't want to pull. I'm telling you, the automatic transmission right now would make me a real happy. But I've been talking about a new truck on and off, right? But I'm honestly now I'm not sure I can afford a new truck because it's just too expensive to have two payments. I mean, it's too much, you know, to have a truck and trailer. The truck, I thought I had, I think I mentioned this, right? I thought my financing was for 60 months. Turns out it's for 72 months. And now this is March. So this truck is exactly 3 years old. So 36 months is done. But I still have 36 months more. 3 more years of payments. Actually, the trailer, I thought the truck will be paid off sooner. Turns out the trailer will be paid off sooner. So eventually I will have only one payment, which is good. Google Maps still cannot find this detour. It keeps sending me like every kilometer, every half a mile. It says, you know, turn to go back to 28. But that's why you have to turn off the volume. And as long as you know, I programmed Peace Bridge, right? Peace Bridge. And so I know eventually it'll go to that route. But right now it shows US 20A west and then Highway 400 north to I-190. Another hill. Another day, and looks like I need to switch to fourth. Village of Perry, P-E-R-R-Y, Perry. Yeah, so the latest news about the flip axle. So the final payment has been made. So now I own the axle. I just need to get to New Jersey to pick it up. And so I sent the last payment by wire, and the first part, like the deposit, was made with a credit card. And I asked him right away to change the shocks, because that axle has been sitting in storage since 2014. Right? It never been used, and so there's no way those shocks are still good. And so I asked him, I said, please change the shocks and change the rims, because it has steel rims. But all they have is those expensive Alcoas. And I said, no. I said, you don't have any, you know, like cheap rims, like 150, 200 bucks, like aluminum, but cheap. They said, no. I said, okay, keep this, we'll keep the steel rims till I get it to Canada. And so now they were just changing the shocks, and the sales guy says, yeah, it's in, we received the money, everything is good, I'm gonna send you the bill of sale shortly. He says the flip axle is in the shop, and they're changing the shocks as you requested, but he says they also discovered that the airbags are pretty much, they rotted out. And basically they said you need to change the airbags.
What's your jumper right? Keep it rolling.
Can do it in fourth. And so I asked them how much they charge. They told me the price. So everything together, new shocks, new airbags with labor, will be about $800. I said, okay, proceed. And so that's what they're doing. So my next load, I'll try to find going that way or out of that area, so I can stop and pick up that axle. And like I said, I have a guy that will help me with the plates and with the importing, and he wants 500 Canadian. So it's not
good, nobody back.
10-4, because that's his import consultation fee, so to speak. See, over here they still have snow on the ground. Huh. How did that happen? All right, so now Google is totally puzzled, doesn't know what to do. Village of Castile.
Go back to bed, come on.
style, I don't know. Yeah, we're turning north soon on 19A.
Yes. I got him. Come on. Take what you need.
Looks like Google Maps found the turn 19A, but it's sending me on some not 20A. We have to go all the way to 20A. Crossing over there, pretty low. As long as there's no hump, it's okay. If it's like gradual, hey, do I need to raise the trailer for that one?
I don't think so. I think you should be alright. Just don't slow it down, that's all.
It was like this much over the ground. That's our turn.
Gotta get this guy out from behind me. Down this way.
Yeah, I was up this road before. So now we just follow this all the way to 20A again. the gear.
Go down the bend, come on.
Right behind you.
Signal up.
So 6, he means a straight truck. 6 wheels. 18 is a tractor trailer. And once I was joking with the guy, I said, why are you giving me wrong information? It's not an 18, like the guy had, like me, had a bunch of axles, right? And I was joking with the guy, I said, you have to give me an exact count of the wheels. So I said, that's not 18, that's like 28. This is 19A north. And it's gonna be like this all the time, up and down until we reach 400. And then we deal with Buffalo. Oh, but as I was saying, if this was a drop side rail, chances are I would be lower, which is a bit tricky to figure out because, you know, with excavators, right, the tallest point is the top of the boom. And of course I have that bucket pocket, right? So when you put the bucket down, that knuckle on the bucket actually sits below the deck level. And I remember one guy was telling me, he said, you're not gonna save much in height with excavators because your bucket is already low. But I don't know, the tracks would be lower, right? Like now they're sitting at 22 inches. With a drop side rail, that'd be sitting at 14 or 15. Okay, so the machine is lower. But yeah, the bucket stays, no, that thing should still be lower. I don't know. But I thought I'd be ordering a deck or something, but now with this big fine I got, well, I'm not paying the fine, but, you know, I have to pay the lawyer a lot of money, so probably that's not happening for now. For now, I'm just getting the flip axle because that's already paid. And now we have springtime axle restrictions everywhere. So that's gonna come in very...
Big bend, come on.
So this axle is gonna come in very handy. Because I'll be, you know, if I lift the pusher on the truck, right? So I'll just have 2 + 2 tandem Jeep plus 3 + 2 in the back. That's very powerful. You can load a lot of weight on that with a permit. Wow, somebody lives in that. Oh, they have a whole bunch of these. I hate these, you know, mobile homes. They look so... Yeah, check this out. There used to be a bridge in here. Like it was very narrow, and then they just took the top of the bridge off. I guess they did this because that's probably an old rail line that nobody's using anymore, and this way now they can send oversized loads this way. Turning on 19 north in about 1 mile.
Screw this routing, this sucks. Send you down into Warsaw. So you're gonna make that left-hand turn to pull that big hill. It's crazy.
Yeah, look at how much detour we're doing just to avoid that in Warsaw. Instead of sending me through, you know, 63 and 5, like that would be so much easier. You know, that Batavia, right? Batavia would be faster.
Oh, 10-4, yes.
I don't know what's wrong with these people. They just enjoy seeing oversized huge truck with a huge load on these baby roads, you know. .30-mile speed limits. Mailboxes on both sides, you know, just they want to make it interesting, so, and I don't blame them. Cemeteries on both sides of the road. People are dying in the village of Warsaw, but nobody knows why. Maybe they're just old, you know? They get old, they die. Okay, 550 meters to 20A.
This is gonna be us going to the left.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, I remember this, so it helps when you went through this before. Go like this.
Hang on.
cannot swear or show fingers through the window because there's Warsaw Police Department right here. They probably wouldn't be very happy about that. And if I remember correctly, right now, coming out of here, there'll be a huge hill. People are walking dogs like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, I remember this one. I remember this hill.
Keep it coming, I'll hold this guy up here.
That's where I almost stole the engine over here. Son of a... Alright, too high. Can you believe this? I'm in too high. And I'm barely moving. Well, the good news is I found the gear. I did not stall. I'm in second high, doing 8 miles an hour.
I'm in drive doing 4. Shame on them for running you around that downside to run you up this hill.
Like I said, it's the old and proven DART method. That's how they issue permits. And now we have 20 cars in the back. I probably should let them go.
What you're gonna do, you know?
Well, I cannot stop here, but once we reach the top, maybe. And they cannot pass me because there's a dual yellow line here. And last time I made a mistake. I tried to shift. And as soon as I try to shift into third gear, I think I almost stalled again. So I'm not changing gears. I just need to climb to the top, and then there's a second part after that. You see that? Son of a... Okay, Tom, I gotta leave the trailer.
No! If you want to wave them guys around, I'll hold this lane.
Yeah, so I had to stop and raise the trailer because I know that it doesn't look like too much, you know, like the hill over the rails, but there's a drop. And that's the problem. Like I saw him, when he was going over, then there's a drop on the other side, and because of that, if your trailer is low, right when your drive wheels drop, you know, the bottom of the trailer hits the rails. And I remember last time I had trouble in this intersection, at this junction, you know. Yeah, it's a good thing that I changed my filter, because yeah, that one was giving me so much restriction. I think I got some bad fuel, as it can happen in winter. You get bad fuel, and then your fuel filter gets plugged up. Yeah, so here we have 35 kilometers, which is pretty much 20 miles, to 400. And 400, it's already a divided freeway. So all we need to do is just, this is the most difficult part, from Warsaw to 400. Like lots of hills, lots of towns. I think there'll be some lights. Lots of fun. So that's what I'm doing today. So like I said, the goal is to reach the border, cross the border, and before I go to Canada, pick up my new shiny headers. And I watched some videos online on people before and after, they were comparing the exhaust, and it just, well, sorry about the my head cam died again. I don't know what's, like, the battery seems to be okay. I think it just gets, the files get too big. And so you see that ugly snow and that QW in the distance. Not sure why the picture is so, well, we have no stabilization now. Interesting. So I'm using my Samsung phone, and evidently that's my steering wheel. Check out that color scheme, that looks good. Of course, you know, the name of the truck company, WD Potato Limited. Doesn't sound very romantic, but next to me is a flatbed guy with some chunks of steel. What is that? Oh, a very old K-Whopper. No, Peterbilt. I think it's old, because look at the lights, headlights, like old style, unless he changed them. And at the top he has a bulldog. No, wait, that's a pig. He has a pig with wings on the top of his radiator. Anyway, what's happening is that, so my pilot showed up, right? And then we just waited maybe, hold on, we're recording? Yeah, we waited maybe 10 minutes. And my updated New York permit got issued, and so he followed me to Jim's Truck Plaza, and we shut down at Jim's Truck Plaza, and I wanted to drive my truck or ask him to give me a ride. He didn't want to do it, so I gave him a few bucks for his you know, inconvenience, because he had to wait for me. We still had to go to the bridge, right? And meanwhile, I grabbed an Uber, because I didn't want to mess with my hoses. Too much work, you know, separating the truck and then driving. So I just decided to call an Uber, and now I have this goodness inside. Check this out. So these are my long tube headers from BBK, and they came in 3 packages. I said I'm supposed to have 2 big packages and 1 small one. You know, that's just water, guys. Don't get too excited, okay? And I see this. I know these are my sensor extension cables. And this one showed online, it says delivered, waiting for the customer to pick up, right? But these two, this box and this box, for some reason online it was still saying processing. And so it took the guy like 10 minutes to find them. I was already, like, the Uber guy was waiting outside, and I'm thinking, you know, I have to go back to Canada to deliver this excavator. And this guy, all he could find at first was this sensor envelope. I said, no, there should be more, right? And then he brings out these two, and I say, wait a second. I said, one should be long tube headers, right? Like the main part that connects to the engine. And I said, how can this be meat pipes? Because you see at my hand, so this is like, I don't know, less than 2 feet long. How can it be meat pipes? But he says, he saw it somewhere here, it was saying meat pipes. So I don't know. So he says it's mine, so that's what I have. So I emailed my guy at the OK Tire. I said, I have the goods. I'm across the bridge in Canada, so now all I gotta do is deliver my excavator in Ottawa, and then I'm coming back. And I had, of course, because I'm leaving the truck at the repair facility for them to fix that door, and then replace 2 shocks they didn't do last time because they didn't have the shocks. They only had 4 for the truck, steer axle and the last drive axle, and they were missing 2 shocks. And so now they have those 2 shocks, and they're gonna fix that missing bolt on the shock on the trailer. And I'm gonna ask them, please double check all shocks that they are tightened properly, because it looks like somebody, you know, didn't check them before releasing the trailer. And so while they're doing that, I'm gonna call an Uber again and pack this goodness in the car, and let him take me to my Challenger, and then we drop that Challenger off at the OK Tire for the header install. And before I do that, I need to do a video like before, you know, how the exhaust sounds before, so that we can do a direct comparison before and after. And what I was saying when my head cam cut me off, I was saying that I saw a couple of videos on YouTube where it was extremely loud. Like, I don't even like that myself. But then I realized that all these crazy people that install headers, you know, they're super young guys, and they remove all mufflers. So there's no mufflers, and it's long tube headers. And most of the time they don't even install CATs, you know, catalytic converters. And so because of that, it's just basically a straight pipe from the engine. It's crazy loud. So first off, I'm keeping the car legal, so I'll have CATs, but different CATs. These are high flow CATs, and so they improve power, but of course they're louder, but still they're way more quiet than just an open pipe, you know. So I have CATs, and I have Flowmaster Super 10 in the middle there. So I'm not getting rid of the mufflers, because it'd just be crazy. Like, what's the point, you know? Like, these guys were showing scenes where the guy was he was watching people walking behind him, and he was afraid to start the car because he thought that the people might say something, because, you know, the car sounds just like a racket, you know, race car. It's crazy, you know. You cannot use a car like that in a town or village. You'll get a ticket. I don't know, like, any cop will hear this from 3 miles away, you know. And so I'm not doing that. I'm keeping my mufflers, and I'm changing the CATs to the flow high flow model, but so my car should not be as loud. And I think I already booked a load from PA back to Ontario, and we were just talking about the rate, and then I agreed to the rate. And then the guy says, oh, looks like there's a problem with the bill of sale, so they have to put it on ice. I said, because I was telling them I have to fix my truck and I have to take a few days off. And then the guy says, well, now the load is not ready. They have to do something about the bill of sale. I said, that's perfect, you know. I need to take a couple of days anyway off, so let me know when it's ready, and I'll go there and I'll get it. So those are the news. So this is the end of a super long trip with some big financial repercussions. and that's why I need to take time off. First off, I'm dealing with my car with the headers, but secondly, I'm dealing with a lawyer that's helping me with this huge ticket I got in Maryland. So not very pretty, but I hope this guy can help me beat the Maryland DOT. So stay tuned for that. I'll post an update. I think the next video will be about my car. So all you trucking types, just relax, read the title of the video. If it's not something you're interested in, just don't watch it, all right? Ciao.